How Alex Mineo is making over $175,000 a month only wholesaling vacant land. Guys, we have an awesome podcast today. We're going to talk with Alex about how he is closing deals wholesaling vacant land. And he has come with the receipts, the proof. If you go on his Instagram, I don't know if it shows it, but they're all just they're all just checks. And he's posting them.
There you go.
And he's proven it right. Not a lot of people can do that. And so he's verified, he's ready to go, and he's here to share exactly how you could start making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month wholesaling vacant land. So Alex, I know we talked a little bit before this, but tell everybody, how did you get started in real estate?
Yeah, so I got started in real estate. First thing I did, I actually did Airbnb. I know we didn't chat, but I did Airbnb arbitrage. So I would rent out properties and then I would put them on Airbnb. It was a headache. Did not want to deal with that, forever. So I got into land. I had two friends that were doing vacant land, killing it. And that's kind of what piqued my interest in it. I had a ton of failed businesses, and it just got to a point where I was like, all right, these guys are doing well. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to give it a try. And it clicked right away, really, like right away. So they helped me out in getting started. And then that's all she wrote, man. I figured a few things out, and I think, have become one of the better ones in the game, for sure.
All right. So when you first got started, were you wholesaling like houses, or were you just doing land? Like, what was the?
I did land right away. I had a small period of time where I was doing some houses. I have a few house deals under my belt, but land is my thing for sure. Houses, man, give me a headache. I want to deal with the easy transaction, right? There's no tenants, there's no toilets, no repairs, crazy inspections that have to be scheduled. So that's why land is my thing. I stuck with land.
I like it, man.
Yeah.
And so how long ago was your first basically wholesaling deal?
2023, I would say.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 2020.
2 years.
So I've been doing it for about 2 years now. Maybe over 2 years, actually, at this point.
Okay.
So,
interesting. So break me down your first wholesaling deal. How old were you? Where was the deal, and how did you get that deal? And give me the whole details on your first deal.
So I was 23 years old. I remember every time I would get a reply from someone, I was texting. I do mass texting. I mean, I do everything, but that's my main go-to. Every time I got a reply, I thought it was a deal. I thought everything was a deal. I would send.
Let's break this down. Hold on. What texting platform? Let's get some details on here. Like what texting?
So I mainly use Smarter Contact.
Okay, cool. All right, you're doing that. And what list?
I just get a list from PropStream, and then I would use Skip for the Skiptracing.
Okay, perfect.
I actually used to use PropStream initially. My first deal was from PropStream Skiptracing until I found out that it's a little bit overpriced for what you're getting. So I would pull the list. It was a Central Florida deal. I pulled the list, PropStream, residential, vacant land under 1 acre. Pulled the list. I would skip trace it using skiptracing.com. That was my initial one that I used for my first year. Now I use a few different platforms for my skip tracing, but I texted on Smarter Contact, hey, are you interested in selling your property? I'm a local investor. The good old pitch, cash ready, whatever. I got a ton of responses, over 100 responses in my first campaigns. And I'm thinking every single response is a deal. So I would send it to my friends. Hey, is this person wants to sell? I think I have a deal. None of them were deals. All right. So my first, I think 5 or 6 contracts were not deals. I was locking it up above market value. And then I had one lady, I think her name was, I think it was Brenda. She had a property in Central Florida in Ocala. I got it for $18,000 and I sold it for $26,000 with a 2-week close, man. So I was pumped. And that was my first month, 2-week close, right?
And it was virtual, right? Yeah, because you're in South Florida.
Virtual, yeah. I do everything virtual. I've never checked out a property. I had one lot under contract in Miami. That's the only time I've ever left my house to have some fun and actually check out a property.
Dude, well, okay, so let's bring this back because obviously we'll get to where you're at now, but like, let's go in everyone's shoes, right? You're, I think, 23 years old, $8,000 wholesale deal, right? Virtually doing okay. So I think the most valuable part is you're a brand new beginner. You're 23. Like, give me the whole process of you as a 23-year-old, brand new, locking up a virtual deal. What was your process for vacant land? Because like, I don't need to know how your expert thing is now. Like as a beginner,
Right.
what was the
As a
process how
beginner.
you did it?
So as a beginner, right, I was just kind of winging it as much as I could. I didn't know anything about the business itself or of construction, of home building. I did not know what made a piece of land desirable. I got lucky. I would get things under contract and I would send them out to whatever buyers I could find, and I would hope the lot, passed their criteria. It passed their due diligence. That's it. I did not know what to really look for, but I was just doing it. I was just having fun, kind of winging it. And I've always been very good at sales, right? That was my first few jobs. It was high ticket sales jobs. So I could just speak to people, and it was tough going through the process, not knowing what to offer. I had guidance though. That's what helped. I had my two friends that, I was like, hey, what price do I need this at? What price do I need this at? It helped me out a lot, 100%. Just having that minimal guidance right there. That's where a lot of, I think, people will struggle, is just not being able to ask even the most simple question in the world. For me, that's what got me my first few deals was having help essentially from them. So I do owe them on that. But yeah, I mean, it's tough in the beginning. I mean, you don't know what to look for. You're nervous. You don't know what to say on the phone to these people. When you speak to a builder, right? Obviously, you're coming off as a rookie. And
Well, how did you find this first buyer, which was technically a builder, right? Because I want you to break it down. Because how do you view? Because I view things my own way, but I'm trying to get your perspective. How do you view builders yourself? Like, how did you find this first cash buyer?
So I found this on Zillow. Okay. So what I would do is I would go to Zillow. I would look at houses for sale, And then on the filter more on the top right, I would do year built. Back then I would do 2023. So it means all the houses I'm looking at listed on the market are just now built from an active buyer / home builder. Okay. So usually when you're calling those, you're going to be calling their listing agent though, right? You're not calling the home builder directly, but luckily this home builder was his own listing agent. So I got direct to him and he just happened to take the deal, man. Hey, I see you're the listing agent for this one. He got mad right away. I'm the builder. I'm like, okay, man. Anyways, I got this property here. It's in the same exact neighborhood, same exact subdivision. I was asking 35 grand for it. I had no clue what it was worth, right? I always thought every wholesale deal you had to make 15, 20K. And that's what changed my perspective. So I was asking 35 grand. He basically laughed. He was like, best I'll do is 25. And I was like, you can't throw out a few more bucks on it, whatever. It was my first deal. I was just trying to get him up. And he came up to 26. He covered all closing costs, 2-week closing. Quick. He does all his feasibility himself. He drove the lot. He was good to go. He paid all the closing costs. We used his title company. I had to get an addendum to change the title company on my first deal. So that was a mess also, trying to explain this to the lady hey, I'm not using this title company anymore. I'm using this one, by the way. So it was a messy first deal, but I got it done. And I was very happy when I got it done.
Perfect, man. And so what I'm trying to understand here is, do you go to the real estate agent that listed the property and go through them and pay them? Or do you just kind of call them, get some information, then go around them?
No, I do not go around them.
Okay.
No.
So how much do you pay the real estate agent?
So if I am using a real estate agent, and this is current time, not when I was a beginner. In current time, if my dispositions team is using a real estate agent, right? Step number one is they try to find the buyer directly themselves. If they cannot get in contact and or find the contact information for that buyer, we will use the listing agent that represented them on their last purchase. So we'd reach out, hey, I saw you represented X builder here for this piece of land. Would you mind putting us in contact? Here's the lot we have. Is he looking to buy any more? We will pay out a standard 3% commission. So we pay them a 3% commission. So if it's a $30,000 lot at the end buyer price, We'll pay him out 3%, which is obviously right under $1,000, and usually we'll have that property around $24,000 to $25,000, give or take. So
beautiful, man. And then you kind of hit the ground running. And so, how did you kind of start ramping it up pretty aggressively from there?
It's funny. I was actually only doing after that first text campaign that I did on Smarter Contact. For the next 6 months, I only did on market. Okay. And I know you had your fun in this area too, man. I probably made $500,000 in my first 6 months in Port St. Lucie, Florida, man.
Here we go.
Just doing land on market, calling realtors on market. All right. I was a land acquisitions company that worked with all the builders in the area. I was calling realtors on market. I was getting all these properties in Port St. Lucie at the time for around $100,000. And one of the largest builders there was paying $115,000. So every single week I was doing 4 to 5 deals in Port St. Lucie, anywhere from $7,000 to $10,000 assignment fees. Like I literally made $500,000 probably in Port St. Lucie alone.
It's disgusting in Port St. Lucie.
Obviously it's changed. Times have changed.
Oh yeah. I mean, dude, but in 2018, 2019, right before 2020, it was just like, they're like bounties. They're like quarter acre infill lot, $80,000. I'm like,
yep.
40, 50. And I knew they didn't care. Just quarter acre lot. They
didn't care about anything in Port St. Lucie. Dude, I hit a $60,000 spread there. You know what I mean? And they didn't even care. They see my assignment fee. They did not care at the time. They just wanted lots in Port St. Lucie.
It's interesting because during those times, and 2023 is still kind of like that, where real estate was shooting up. Builders are like, we just got to build because they know interest rates about to go up. Like, we just got to buy this, build it, go. And man, that was quite a time to be alive.
It was a time, man. So I got lucky in my initial phase, right? I was doing on market. I was only hitting Port St. Lucie. I was also hitting a little bit of Palm Bay, Florida at the same time also, because that's where my main one builder was. I mean, all this money was.
Yeah, I know. It starts with an H?
It starts with an H.
So basically, I've made a lot of money with them. The cool part about Palm Bay and Port St. Lucie, which is very secret information, but the same people that built the city of Port St. Lucie built Palm Bay.
Right.
But same developer, right? But okay. So pretty much from there, you're doing good there on market. And so are you offering like I know how the builders work. Like I know internally, they don't really care about on market, which is like a crazy secret. They don't care about if it cash buyers, they're crazy, but they don't care. And so are you just getting a slight discount from the listing agent and then just selling?
I mean, a lot of the time, man, these listing agents, for example, let's use prime Port St. Lucie days, okay? Lots were selling, 130, I would say. 130 was the market in 2023, a little bit up until 2024. 130 was the market. So they would list them for 135. They would list them for 130. Sometimes you would get lucky. They would list it for 115. So yeah, I was just coming in to where I could make my 7 to 10 grand on those deals. And it's almost like these agents, these listing agents were also new to the game. And they were just excited to get a vacant land sale, man. So I would always be the first one. I had my notifications on. No one was beating me to those calls. No one was following up as hard as me. I was destroying Port St. Lucie. I remember there was a month where there was like 35 sales in Port St. Lucie, and I think I was like 25 of them to the H builder.
Dude, that's awesome, man. I mean, the thing about it is if you're going to list $100,000 piece of land, which is notoriously difficult to sell, I mean, you're not one of these top $1 million realtors. And so I like that. My biggest gripe with this, and I think this is why you kind of went back on market. Like if 20,000 people watch this video, how many of those people you think are just going to do on literally just, okay, new listings on land? It's like, that's going to saturate a little bit, which makes it a little more tougher. Right. That's my only issue I think I see on that, but you obviously know that, right? It's all about the buyers.
Look, the amazing part is everything in life is going to be saturated. Nothing is a secret. Brother, there are going to be so many markets just like Port St. Lucie.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Even outside of the Palm Coast area, right? All that land right there that is still untouched because Palm Coast is almost done, right? They're almost done in Palm Coast doing their thing with development. What's next? And then what's next after that? And then what's next after that? There's always going to be an opportunity. And now we're only talking about Florida, right? The desert in Arizona is also no longer going to be a desert pretty soon, right? They're
Dude,
building communities. The opportunity is endless. So
bro,
I
they have $100 billion chip factory in Scottsdale. I think they're building up that thing is going to go crazy, man. And fun fact, I had somebody in our Discord. He locked up a deal in the middle of the desert, Arizona, 50 acres for like $5,000.
oh man,
He couldn't sell it, and he JV'd with someone or found something. Shout out to Aaron, and he made like 15 grand. I told him no way he's going to sell it. He sold it. It just land is there, man. So
see,
let's
I'll buy stuff like that because I know eventually it's going to be. Look, I'm not worried about $5,000 right now. If I get a property like that, I'll just buy it and I'll forget I even own it. Just like all these sellers we deal with have done, and we watch them all make a killing. So, got to take those opportunities also.
There we go, man. And so you're doing on market, and did you switch off to like where you're at now? Like, how are you hitting? Let's go now. Like, you're hitting 175 a month. You've hit a couple $200,000 months. You're probably going to keep growing there, right? How are you doing that volume? Like, what? Like, I need a whole breakdown here.
Okay, so number one, I am doing more marketing volume than probably anybody in the game. Let's get that. Number two, I probably have the best team that there is, quite frankly, that I've trained, that I've built, and that I trust wholeheartedly. To where my acquisitions guys, man, I mean, they're spitting images of what I used to be when I started, and they will out hustle everyone. We are better on the phone than probably anyone. Every deal we're working, we're not the first offer. They have another offer from another wholesaler. It is our contract every single time. Nobody can beat us if the price is reasonable. So that's number one. And then my disposition guy, I mean, I could close my eyes, not text him for weeks, and he's going to be out working everyone doing his job. So it's just that's the main credit I would give to my volume, apart from the skill set I have when it comes to finding new markets, and also being able to instantly, after my first text campaign, be established in that market. I'll send out a text campaign, boom, we get 2 contracts almost every single time signed from that campaign. Right away, my disposition guys are going to find the top 3 buyers there within the last 3 months, and we're going to get our foot in the door with them right away. So that's how quickly we can establish a market. I mean, I'm in over 60 different markets, all right? I'm in over 60 different land markets. So I'm everywhere. If there's a market that has action, that has potential that I see, I'm in it. So that's where my volume is coming from, I would say.
All right. So we got to break this down. So the marketing side, right? You say you're doing more marketing than anybody else. What's the marketing? I don't need to know your scripts. Obviously, like,
texting. I send out 500,000 text messages a month. I send out mailers. I mean, I do every form of marketing.
Okay, so 500,000 texts, right? What platform are you using?
Smarter Contact.
Oh wow, they're doing it. Interesting.
But there's a ton. Smarter Contact, Launch Control, RER. None of them are they're all the same at the end of the day.
Yeah. How much is the text on Smarter Contact?
How much is the membership plan?
The texting, yeah.
I have 3 Smarter Contact accounts.
Wow. So to send 500,000 texts, how much is it costing you?
Around 15 grand, probably.
Okay, so that's like let me see here.
Because I also have like about 1,000 phone numbers, which are $2 to $3 per month each. So that's 2 to 3 grand. Each Smarter Contact plan.
3 cents. Is there opt-out language at the texting? And I've heard good stuff about Smarter Contact, but like that's about 3 cents a text. Obviously, it's working well for you. Is there opt-out language to that?
I mean, it's optional. I will say, it's optional.
There we go. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Hey, dude. Dude, I don't care. Like, I just want to know about what you're working on. So 500,000 texts is insane. Like on X Leads is like limited to 30,000 for the month. We can do 50, but like that's crazy. And so you're doing that. And is that the primary part of your marketing?
That's primarily where we are getting the majority of our deals from. But a lot of these people are boomers, correct? They're not the biggest texters in the world. Some of them don't even have a cell phone, so you still have landlines and mailing addresses to hit. So I tap into it all.
Dude, 15 grand's not a lot. Like, I mean, like
Yeah,
for what
brother,
you're
it's nothing.
doing,
What other business is there where you're going to get over 10x return on marketing spend?
dude. That's
There's
and no
months.
couponing.
There's months where I have had 20x returns. Where I've spent $10,000 on Smarter Contact, and in March we did over $200,000 in assignment fees, right? So that's all profit. I spent $11,000 that month on texting. It wasn't even my highest volume month of texting, and we had over $200,000 worth of deals close, fund, and hit the bank account. A lot of guys say I make 6 figures a month, but half the deals don't go through, or they're potential. So we're talking close, fund, pay in the bank account, done deal.
Dude,
And that's crazy.
That's
No other business has those returns unless you're door knocking for pest control or solar, since that's free marketing.
Dude, that's crazy. So 500,000 texts. So what is your texting process to the lead? So obviously you send a text. Are you interested in selling it on the initial text? Like, what's kind of the process?
I mean, I've had to get a bit trickier now.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the end of the day, it's a very simple template I use. Hey, first name. Hopefully I have, the right phone number here. I don't want to come off just like another cash buyer. I want to have a little more reality to it. Hopefully I'm reaching the right person, right? Shows that you own X property. I am currently buying in the area. Super interested in this one. Would you consider a sale? And that's it. I mean, that is it. I'm just outdoing people with the texting at the end of the day. And I beat them to the punch because my acquisitions team and our skill set when it comes to speaking with people it's just, I don't think people are going to be able to match it, quite frankly.
Dude, you got very lucky with that case law on the DNC. Like,
what?
They have, I don't know if you saw that DNC.
I did see it. I actually didn't read into it that thoroughly, but
it's just extra protection. It's just more like if you offer to buy, someone's property, you're more protected than not. Basically, I guess I'm at, like, for all these texts you do, that's almost 6 million a year. Have you gotten any like lawsuits or like lawyers?
I've gotten none, man. I've gotten none. We're very respectful with people. Look, if someone says DNC, if they say stop bothering me, instantly they're added to our internal DNC list and they will never be bothered again.
Beautiful, man. And so you text them if they're interested, and let's say they say maybe or yes, I am. What's the like? Does it go right to acquisitions? Do you go through some more texting? Like, what's that process?
I mean, so my process is a bit different.
Yeah.
My process is a bit different than everyone else. The way we manage our leads, things like that. I probably leave a lot of money on the table. I will tell you that. We don't track our leads. I'll just full transparency. I have Podio. I use Podio to track my contract inventory along with my closings. But I do not upload every single lead into Podio. It's a waste of time. I do not upload leads, right? We have a simple tracking system. Nurture, follow up, contract sent, contract signed. That's it. I keep it very simple because, look, if I have a list of 2,000 vacant land owners in Port St. Lucie, Florida, I'm not going to pull people out of that texting campaign. It's not worth it. It costs pennies to text them. Why not just keep texting them from different phone numbers and lowball them from these other phone numbers and then come back from the original phone number after they've been lowballed 12 times in the last month and say, hey, what's up? How are we doing here? I'm checking back in. I made you an offer for 130. I'm sure you get messaged and lowballed all the time. And I know they are because we're the ones doing it. So that's my process right there. If it's a good lead, boom, get them on the phone, introduce ourselves straight to the point. If they try to say, oh, well, I have higher offers, we don't care. We know where those offers are coming from, Mr. or Mrs. Seller. We know where they're coming from. We don't care. This is our offer. Let us know. Boom, contract sent, contract signed, into Podio, right to dispositions, in and out, just like that. So
that works. Okay, so I want to get in that part, but like first, who's handling the marketing? Because obviously you're not going out here messaging. I mean, that dude, the reply rate has to be insane. Like, who's replying to these texts? Who's sending the text out? Like, is that a VA? Is that like somebody else?
I actually still send campaigns, man.
Okay.
I'm the one
Is
sending
it like
them.
a click and they send, or you have to do that click thing?
Click.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude,
So I do that every
I'm
morning.
gonna get arthritis at 30.
Yeah, whatever. I do that every single morning. I'm very involved with my team. I'm hands-on, you know.
Who replies back then?
My acquisitions guys.
Okay, I see. Okay.
Yeah. I don't
It's
have
not really a handoff. I like that.
I don't like the handoff. You're
like
losing
that.
people on the handoff. I do not
Beautiful.
need virtual assistants vetting my leads and speaking to them on the initial touch. It's a quick way to leave money on the table, in my opinion. All I use VAs for is sending our contracts, sending our assignments, transaction coordination, and CRM management. That's it. Everything else, in-house, American trained killers that will outperform everybody else's team, which they do. You know,
I love
they
it,
do.
man. So if I call or I text you to say I got an offer from this other guy for 10,000 more than you're offering me, like what do you just say? This is our offer. Here it's at. Like
this is our offer. I don't care what they offered. We've done way more deals in the area than them. That offer is high for this reason, and this reason, and they're probably not that legit. I have title companies that I've literally done over 200 deals with. I'll say, hey, call this title company. Just say the last name Mineo, and the title company knows what to do from there. Oh, Alex? Yeah, he's closed over 200 deals with us. There's no one like him. He closes the fastest. He's the most reliable. He's never missed a deal. He's always on point. He's always responsive. Take that offer.
Dude, I like it, man. And so kind of going back here on the ARV side, right? Figuring out how much to offer, right? So how do you figure out what it'll sell? I mean, I kind of know, but I'm just trying to how do you know what it'll sell for? And how do you know what to offer it at? So it's actually easy, but I'm curious how your mind works on it.
I mean, look, it works the same way it worked in elementary school when my teacher gave me, Alex, here's these 5 numbers. What's the median? You know what I mean? So if you give me the number 10 5 times, if that's, whatever, hey, Alex, here's 10 5 times. What's the median? Obviously, the average is 10. And then you need to be right below that. So when it comes to making offers on land, number one, I pick subdivisions and neighborhoods and cities, just like Port St. Lucie. You already know if you could get a property for 130, you're going to flip it right away. So that's kind of the style that I follow there. But other than that, it's like if there's a sale for 27, if there's a sale for 30, 32, 31, I mean, we know top of the market is 30 grand. We can probably get around 28 grand off market for it. So anything below that is profit. I'll take the one. Look, I'll take the $1,000 deals all the time, man. I will never turn down a $1,000 deal. You know what? I mean, it pays for my text campaign, like all the time. I mean, let's see, I have some here. Like right here, a $1,000 deal the other day, a $2,500 deal. Like we have no problem taking those deals. It pays expenses. It's an expense payer, so that I don't have to worry about anything. So if a seller is firm on 30 grand and I know I could maybe squeeze out 31 from a buyer, whatever, why not? They're not going to come down. They know what the property's worth. They've been offered 100 times. Sometimes just take what you can get. I never leave money on the table. There's these guys that teach offer 50% of market value. And that's why they don't get any deals, because they lowball for a living. You don't get deals doing that. And that's not what I teach and I preach. I go for volume, right? 35 to 45 deals every single month, eyes closed, clockwork, average spread of $5,000 to $7,000 is what we're working with. Don't get me wrong. I get my bigger deals, man. I get my bigger deals 100%. very often too, but bread and butter volume.
Beautiful. And then on the disposition side, right, you got someone in there, but how do you find cash buyers? Are you finding developers? Like, how are you still doing Zillow? Like, how are you finding the buyers?
There's a few methods, right? Obviously, if you go on Zillow.com and you're looking at houses for sale, new construction, you're going to see every builder. And typically, if it's a larger builder, Holiday, DR, all those guys, the name and the number is listed. Hey, get me in touch, land acquisitions, what's the name, what's the email. But if I'm doing the smaller mom and pop builders, construction companies that maybe build, 60 to 80 homes per year, I mean, I'm just looking at, number one, permits pulled, right? Who has been pulling the most permits, and PropStream cash buyers. I mean, there's nothing more to it. See who they are, and that's it. We have the relationship, though. We have the relationship once again. And a lot of the time at this point, we've done over 400 land deals in the last year and a half. So it's like half the time I'll see their title company, right? And, I've closed with this title company before. Hey, Susie, quick question. Can you give me this person's info? So it's like a lot of the time that's what it comes down to. Just relations. A lot of my title companies will really hook it up, man.
Awesome.
Obviously, they want the business too. They want to close the transaction and get their settlement fee. So
awesome, dude. So one other thing I need to know is, for a beginner, right? There's obviously some differences between the process of wholesaling a piece of land versus a house, right? And some nuances. And so for a beginner watching this that only knows houses, right? What's the difference between what a developer's looking at and kind of some things that you look for on there? Like, for example, water hookup, sewer.
Right.
Like,
again, man, if you
can
do houses, you can do land. I mean,
Yep.
it's easier 100%. There's obviously the initial learning curve, but what are you looking for in a piece of land? Again, the areas I do are simple, right? I'm not looking for zoning because my list is already residential. Zoning is irrelevant in all these areas. It's all the same. It's all the same. Here and there, you'll have a R3, R4 multifamily lot mixed in to the list, but it's like, cool, great. Let's see, do we have anyone that wants to buy these? But other than that, you're checking for utilities, right? Does it have water? Does it have sewer? Does it require a well? Does it require a septic? Okay, so obviously in an area like Palm Bay, you have all three. You got well septic, you have city water and septic, and you got city water and sewer. But a lot of these areas are just well and septic already. Every lot is going to be the same. So you don't have to check for it, but you do have to check for flood zone, right? Is it in flood zone X? Is it in flood zone AE? Is it in no flood zone? If it's in flood zone AE, a home builder is not going to pick it up. An investor type of person on market is going to pick it up. So those are the things we're checking for. Obviously, power also. In these neighborhoods, is power underground or is it power poles, right? Power lines. So you need to check for that. Google Earth, Google Maps, literally go on the street view and is there power lines in front of the property? Does it have power? And then obviously wetlands, usually using the National Wetlands Inventory Map, checking for wetlands. And that's it. The builder does the rest. In some of these areas, there's websites that will actually show slope too, like the exact slope. Other areas, there's no website for it. So you kind of just have to wing it and hope when the builder goes through their due diligence that they do not come back and say, hey, Alex, this one has a 6-foot slope. It requires $8,000 worth of fill. I need a price reduction. So those are the boxes we are checking off.
Dude, I agree 100%. I think the only thing that I've always found is, like, people send me deals all the time on land, and it's like, oh yeah, here's the middle of a cornfield in Nebraska. And, it's like, so the thing is, you have to figure out what markets work well and not, right? And so, I mean, I'm the way I look at it is like, well, if there's builders building, like, go where they're at, right? How do you look at if a market's going to be good or not for land?
So obviously I want to see that there are builders building, But sometimes, man, it's companies like Century Complete and DR Horton just taking over, and
Sure.
they don't work with wholesalers. I mean, excuse me, DR Horton will work with wholesalers, but oh my God, I'd rather just not. I'd rather not do the deal than work with DR Horton, quite frankly. A lot of these people don't work with wholesalers, so you have to double close, right? There's a few builders I work with where we have to do a double close.
So stupid.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's
Basically the
dumb.
same thing,
It does
but
make
yeah.
sense. They're leaving a lot on the table, but also it does make sense. You know, when people send me JV deals, I'm like, oh man, you know, I'm not doing it. So I understand where these builders come from when it comes to that, for sure. But you know, majorly, I'm looking that there is just volume, action. I don't overcomplicate anything. I look for action. I do a test campaign. If it goes well, it goes well. I mean, there's almost never a campaign where we do not get a signed contract. All right. So I always have an opportunity. You know, if I want to test this area in Arizona, I pull a list, I send a campaign, we get a signed contract, and we start sending it out. And if it goes well, you know, even if the property doesn't sell, if my Dispo guy is like, hey, well, this builder passed on this one, but he'll take this type of lot here. Boom. I already know it's a good area. I have someone that will pick up the lots, continue to hit it. And those rural cornfield areas are also a gold mine. Okay. We have done deals like that. Chicken, poultry farms in the middle of
the farms, yeah.
Georgia, you know, Georgia country, right? I've done a 75-acre deal like that. So it just really depends what I'm feeling, you know, what I'm feeling. But bread and butter is these subdivisions that you and I both know very well. That is the bread and butter.
So what was your biggest vacant land deal you've ever done?
Do we count package deals or no?
I get both.
I mean, honestly, nothing crazy. I think 30 grand.
That's crazy. That's just all volume, man.
Man, I do 35 to 40 deals a month, every single month. You can come see my podio. Like, that's what I do. I mean, I post my wire transfers too, because people are like, oh, you don't do that many deals. And it's like, what's the point of saying I do this many deals and I don't? But a lot of guys on the internet obviously do that. But like, I post my daily wire transfers. I'm not recycling one big deal or one big week. Every single week, if you follow me on Instagram, it's a new update every single day, right? Today, I have a $6,000 and a $3,000 deal closing coming in. And let me pull up the other days. You know, it's always a 4,000, a 5,000, then a maybe $3,000 deals closing that day. So obviously that's 5 days a week, right? And around $8,000 to $10,000 a day closing. 5 days a week, not 7 days a week, right? Weekends nothing's closing on weekends. So volume, bread and butter. Of course, though, my big deals come in, right? And that's how I have my big months. I believe in my month of March, where I did $250,000 in closings, I had all my big deals, I had all my small deals. And then I hit a $30,000 spread in Palm Bay. And then I had a package deal in this other area. That's my little secret honey hole, where I got 2 properties for $50,000 each under contract, same seller, adjacent lots side by side, and I flipped them for $65,000 each. So $30K spread. So 2 $30K spreads that month, plus my endless volume.
Dude, I love it, man. And
It's
hey,
fun.
you got an awesome YouTube channel. That's where I kind of found you from, right? You're starting to post content and you're actually doing deals and teaching people the right way. So I really like that, man. And I think just check him out, Alex Mineo, on YouTube and on Instagram. And you're posting well, you're giving great content. I'm like, hey, this guy's actually talking real stuff. So we like to see it. And so hopefully come on next year. We see how you're increasing the volume and helping more people's land. But
yeah, man, I'm really trying to figure out a way to consistently break that $250,000 per month mark very badly.
Dude,
very badly. Very, very badly. So
there we go, man. So, all right, Alex. Well, I really appreciate it, man. So where can people find you and how can they get in contact with you?
So obviously Instagram is going to be the easiest. Just my name, Alex Mineo _MINEO_. And then I'm on YouTube. I think my YouTube is A Mineo Flips. I'm pretty sure. So A Mineo Flips, because I flip land. So I'm new on YouTube. I'm going to start posting a ton on YouTube, because obviously that's where you can provide the most value and long form content to people. And then if you want to connect, just message me on Instagram. You know, I answer and I help literally everyone. I spend hours a day going through my messages. So it's like I don't miss a message. So yeah.
There you go. It's Alex Mineo on YouTube, by the way. That's the @ score. But yeah, just search it. Be right there, and just comment on the bottom of this, and people get connected with you.
All right, cool, man. I appreciate it, Zach. I'm glad we connected, man. I like what you and your dad do. I told you I've been watching you guys for a while, so I'm trying to get there too.
There we go, man. So, all right, check them out there, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.